I still remain long-term very bullish on Bitcoin. I don't think we see the craziness that we saw back in, 2021 or in 2017 yet. There is a little buzz out there with the spot ETF, dollar starting to drop. That kick-started gold. Gold is having a huge move. It looks to me like it's borderline breakout. We know Bitcoin's had a big move recently, but that's really just a summary of what we're seeing today.
In this video, Gareth will provide his insights on the recent surge of interest in Bitcoin and the spot ETF. He will discuss why he believes the market hasn't reached previous frenzy levels and offer an analysis of the Bitcoin chart. Additionally, Gareth will outline the key factors that make him bullish on Bitcoin, such as underinvestment, limited supply, and the upcoming halving event. Join Gareth in this interview as he delves into these topics and more. Before we continue with the rest of the video, do check out daily 5-minute crypto newsletter with all the latest crypto and Bitcoin news. It's a fantastic analysis of on-chain crypto data and breakdowns, and the best part is it's absolutely free. They'll cover expert predictions, breakdowns of on-chain crypto data, and any breaking news you need to know, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description and enter your email to join over 50,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now.
There is a little buzz out there with the spot ETF, and I was just talking to a couple traders in the office. They've had people contact them that have never invested before saying, hey, should I get into Bitcoin again? So you're starting to see that spread a little bit more. But you're right. I don't think we see the craziness that we saw back in, 2021 or in 2017 yet. Now, that's a positive because once you see that absolute insanity permeate every investor, it's usually closer to the top. Having said that, again, after what we've seen, and we can see the chart very clearly here, we've had this big move up here. We did come into a little resistance. I still remain long-term very bullish on Bitcoin. I think, again, as a store of value, it will eventually migrate to that. Right now, it's a risk asset. And I think that's, if you're looking for the bull case, the bull case is still very overall in the world underinvested, 21 million max supply. These type of things are the key bullish things. We have the halving coming up as well. The bearish side of it would just be more in the short term, which is that risk assets have gone nuts to the upside. Stocks like Nvidia and Microsoft. I mean, so many of these names that were not even close to $1 trillion a few years ago are now north of $1 trillion, if not $2 or $3 trillion, right? So you've had this major risk-on environment, and that I think has also benefited cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin as well. So my biggest fear for Bitcoin, and this is the only bear case that there is that you will have some sort of correction at some point. And the question is, how much does Bitcoin get driven down? But if we zoom out on this chart, we can see again, you go back to this low down here. I mean, we were trading at 15,000 and change, and it just continued to kind of grind higher. And then you're getting a more accelerated move here, which again, usually comes at the end of moves. Now, again, please understand, everyone watching, end of move doesn't mean, hey, it's over. It just means it might need to pause or pull back here in the shorter term before gathering momentum to push up through. So again, amazing move. Again, notice where we just stalled out. The 2021 high pivot. In fact, I think we had an interview back here when this was at 65,000, and I said, hey, it's going to drop to 30,000 because of a head and shoulder pattern, and it dropped to 30,000 within a week. I remember you had me back on. Then we went up to 69. So you basically have your two levels of resistance here, 65 and 69,000. Watch those in the coming week.
Bitcoin's valuation has surged past the $1 trillion mark, resulting in a significant increase in the net worth of its elusive creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, by nearly $9 billion in just 2 months. Analysts at JPMorgan Chase have attributed this surge to the Bitcoin halving event and an upcoming major upgrade in the Ethereum network, identifying them as key drivers of cryptocurrency prices. Meanwhile, veteran trader Peter Brand has revised his Bitcoin price prediction for the current bull market cycle to $200,000, up from $120,000. El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, remains committed to retaining the country's Bitcoin investments, underscoring the potential for significant profits while also emphasizing the intrinsic value of Bitcoin.
So since those CPI and PPI numbers, the market started to get a little nervous, right? But what we saw was that yesterday the PCE data came out, that calmed nerves, the markets rallied, and today we just got the ISM data out, which came in weaker than expected as well. And again, a lot of people out there probably like, wow, weaker data not as good, but weaker data means the Fed may be printing or lowering rates sooner. So bad news is good news. That's the environment we're in, especially if the PCE data is the one we're going to go by, which is telling us inflation is still kind of sticking around this 3% level. So what we saw today is the dollar starting to drop. That kick-started gold. Gold is having a huge move. It looks to me like it's borderline breakout. We know Bitcoin's had a big move recently, but that's really just a summary of what we're seeing today.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a U.S. presidential candidate, asserts that Bitcoin serves as the off-ramp from central banks' money-printing machine, emphasizing its status as a hard currency. He advocates for making Bitcoin readily available to the American public, equating transactional freedom with freedom of speech, highlighting Bitcoin's unique attributes. Conversely, J.P. Morgan has issued a caution to investors, suggesting that the price of Bitcoin could potentially decline to $42,000 following the halving event in April. The global investment bank's analysts anticipate Bitcoin prices gravitating towards this level once the euphoria surrounding the halving event dissipates. Additionally, J.P. Morgan notes that the impact of the Bitcoin halving and the forthcoming major upgrade to Ethereum is already largely factored into current prices.
Yeah, I said, so that's going to be the key. There's a lot of resistance at 65 to 69. So, if you look at the shorter term, this move right here that we just saw over the last 5 days, this 3-day bar surge on the daily chart, that was the easy move. There wasn't any major pivot top in this range. Now you're getting to points where people remember. People have this memory, right? And it's programmed in them, the scariness of, oh my goodness, I bought at 65 and it dropped to 30. Then I rebought when it got up to 69 and it dropped to 15. And that generally will cause a small group to sell. The question is it big enough to offset the new money that's coming into the ETFs, right? The spot ETFs continue to see inflows. But one thing I will point out, a lot of crypto people, they don't understand as much the market environment, meaning that while there's a lot of inflows into spot ETFs right now, it goes both ways, right? If people get scared, and this is again going back to that case of the stock market, and by the way, let's bring up the S&P 500 here. If we take a look at this, the S&P stuck in this very, very tight and tightening wedge pattern. So let's just say we break to the downside and it starts a bigger sell-off. What happens then? Do people start pulling money out of the Bitcoin ETFs, and then do the Bitcoin ETFs have to sell Bitcoin? Right now, it's all buys pretty much, give or take. But again, people just have to understand it goes both ways, at least in the short term. I think longer term, Bitcoin, that store of value, digital gold, it's awesome. But again, I do worry about that stock market correction influencing Bitcoin.
Renowned chartist and seasoned trader Peter Brand has reaffirmed his optimistic stance on Bitcoin, doubling down on his bullish outlook. He recently revised his Bitcoin price target for this bull market cycle to $200,000. Brand highlighted 2 significant monthly bars on his Bitcoin price chart, suggesting that these serve as indicators of potential growth. He emphasized, "My bet is that this is just the starting candle." For more daily dose crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.